So there was a video that, it really bothered me, and it's probably gonna bother you too, of a precious little girl at school. And I want you to really see what happens to this little girl. Let's roll that. When I seen that video, that really bothered me. I mean, that woman is openly racist. And let me tell y'all something. The first encounter that black people is going to have with racism is going to be public school. It's not going to be the police or a Klansman no, it's going to be the public school. You saw that caption up there said Edu Karens. Well, that's exactly what you're going to run into in these schools. You know, I remember I had this one teacher. Her name was Mrs. Flowers, white lady teacher, older white lady. And, you know, I've always been the type of person, I always had the gift of gab on a whole lot of things. You know, you couldn't really, it's not too many things you could talk me into a corner on. I always knew how to get myself out of things, you know, through talking. And I remember one day that teacher kind of got frustrated with me with that. And she said, you know what? You just a little con artist. And as a grown man, you know, at the time, I remember what she said, but I'm like, why would you call a child, a 5-year-old, a con artist? How am I conning you out of anything? Well, because she didn't like that I always had something to say back. She didn't like that she couldn't really say a whole lot back when I do say it because it made sense, right? And one thing white supremacists don't like is you questioning them. They don't like that because a lot of times they don't have even an answer for why they say certain things. Because if you want to get them frustrated, start asking, well, why should we do that? Okay, if I do that, what's the point? You know, either just asking simple questions like that, just fluster them. Because all they want is just submission and compliance. That's all they want. Because they're used to black people doing that to them, right? And, you know, I mean, I passed a class and stuff like that. I mean, I always did my work. I've never been a kid and not do my work. But they tell you certain things, or you watch how they will treat the white kids versus the black kids. I mean, this teacher here is hugging the white ones. Okay. Tapping her and then going. And that's why the person wrote that homeschool your children. Homeschooling is not going to be for everybody. Even my little girl, when she was homeschooled, it wasn't really too good for her. But what we need is to create more black schools, more black institutions, black private institutions that we have in all over the country. And the best way to start is just start in the major cities where a lot of us live. You know, your Houston, your Atlanta, your Charlotte, North Carolina, your DCs, your New York City, Chicago. And I know they got schools in these cities. I know they do. But we need a plethora of these schools that's ran by black people, private, you know, ran schools, not no charter school, but a private ran school that everyone is paying a tuition for. And yes, we're going to have to invest into our children's education and well-being. As I said before, I have always kept my daughter in black-owned private institutions because I refuse for my child to go through what you saw in that video. I refuse. I'm not going to subject my child to white supremacy. I'm definitely educating her on it. Oh, she's being educated. She live with me. But I'm going to remove that much as possible until she has to go out and deal with it face to face and she be equipped for it. Because a child's development years is where a lot of even insecurities come from. It's from the white supremacists. You want to know why certain people have issues about their skin tone? It comes from a lot of times those schoolhouses. Some people got issues with their hair because it comes from those schoolhouses, because those schoolhouses are very abusive to black children. And as black parents, we should take more responsibility in protecting the peace of our children, because that video was just horrible. And that teacher need to be fired. I mean, for real, for real. But they're not going to fire her. They'll make an excuse for it, etc. Because that's just what they do. But let me know what y'all think about, this particular, video. I mean, with this little precious little girl. Please, black people, let's create more schools for our children, because our children should not be subjected to this kind of hate.